Thank you as always, sir. I know I've gotten to speak with you a few times, but it's always a massive honor to get to speak with you.
Oh, it's good to see you again, Bobby.
Let's just dive right into it. I know Ernesto and Marco have worked tons of times together. Now you're kind of joining the foray with this new movie. How did you get involved?
I was working with Marco on John Wick 4, and we were plotting another movie together. And he kept saying, "Look, you got to do it with Ernesto, man. He's great. This director. You need to honestly. The movies that they made in Chile, they made it on extremely low budget." And I was like, "Well, I love those movies, man. So let's do it." And we were talking about going to Chile, so we wrote it for that country. But then it became more feasible to go to Colombia, which was an easy fix, and so we did.
Awesome. So, how easy is it for you? I mean, I know it's still a ton of work. I mean, you put everything you got into your fight scenes and your performances, and that's one of the things I love about every project you do. Uh, has it gotten easier now that you've worked with Marco a few times? When y'all get together, y'all kind of mesh a little bit easier, trying to do fight scenes and things.
It was always easy with Marco when you work with someone that talented in the action department. It makes it easier for me. You do less takes because you can get there quicker, but if you're working with someone that isn't as good, it might take longer, and therefore I'm going to be more tired. Um, but it doesn't get easier because I'm getting older, so
Right. I
it gets
understand.
harder.
Yeah, I'm hitting 51 this next week, and been doing martial arts since I was 9, and I'm starting to see those differences of how I have to train and how to adapt and things like
Yeah,
that. I get it.
recuperation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how much with these fight scenes? I know at this point in your career, you have a lot of input. You move a certain way, you do certain things. So when you come into a project like this, when you have somebody like Marco, do y'all like work out like, okay, I move this way, so I want to do this way, and let's make these two work together, or do y'all have kind of a pre-planned idea and then just figure it out?
Marco was the action designer for this film, and he was
Oh,
in the
cool.
gym with the stunt guys, crafting all the action set pieces. And I did come in and go through some choreography with him. But honestly, it's never been the choreography has never been something that I'm that interested in. I'm more interested in how it's shot. Like for me, a punch is punch, kick's a kick. I don't know. It's just I prefer to have a choreographer. I just prefer it that way. On Accident Man 2, I did do a lot of choreography in that because I had no choice. So it's not that I can't do it, but I just prefer to have somebody else do it. And then I'll come in and we'll go through the fight and we'll think, right, story point here. We need this, we need that from the character. How about if I do this kick instead of that kick? And you'll fix it to how I feel it might work better for me or the character. But generally, I like to have someone else do it. So Marco did it and did a brilliant job. I mean, it's amazing action.
Yeah, it's fantastic. The movie's fantastic, by the way. I thoroughly loved it.
Thank you.
Anytime either one of your names show up on something, I'm there anyway. And I always
Yeah,
know,
good.
no matter how good or bad the movie is, y'all are going to be awesome, and it's great for me. And this one, I love because not only does it have that great action, it has that emotional stuff that is
Yeah.
building between yourself and the young lady, and the chaos of what's really going on, and the kidnapping and not a kidnap. It's so many layers. When you approach a role as an actor, do you have to kind of look at, because you're also a martial arts action star, and I know you've done some movies without the action, so you're a great actor as well. But when you approach it knowing you're going to have to fight, do you try to build the character on your style of fighting at the same time? And like, this is how this guy acts. You don't always have like the military background character to say that's what he does. That's usually a fallback. Do you kind of try to merge those, or do you just approach one thing here and then one thing here?
The only time I sort of concentrate on how the character will fight is if it's something like I'm playing a ninja, you
Right,
know,
right.
so you don't want to look like a kickboxer. But generally, the kickboxing thing, the MMA thing, translates to most tough guys. But if it's some specific martial art that I have to portray, then you're going to have to adapt the style to that. But otherwise, it's more about the character and yeah, like how will the character fight? Is he a dirty fighter? Does he fight like does he fight like an ape or does he fight like a cat? That sort of
Right.
thing. What's his approach? Is he very direct or is he sneaky? That sort of thing. But you know, punch is a punch, kick is a kick.
Well, that's one of the things this isn't so much a question. Something I just want to say that one of the things I've always appreciated by your action style is even though there's that familiarity of, you know, some signature kicks and moves and the way you stand, sometimes it always feels different. And it feels like
Mm,
there's a purposeful, whether it's purposeful or not, there always feels like there's a purpose that matches that character you're playing. That's why I asked the question, because I'm like,
mm.
that guy shouldn't be able to do these flip kicks, right? I wouldn't buy this.
Well, that is the tone of the movie, right? I need to understand what the tone of the movie is. So if it's Accident Man, for instance, it's a larger than life, zany, off the wall comedy, right? And I know that Hong Kong cinema will work well within that. You can
Right.
go, you have more fun with the choreography. But for this, it's a gritty, like realistic sort of setting. You want to do some realistic fighting, but still amp it up a little bit because it is a movie. And so that's what that is, I think. Um, but you've made me think about it. Maybe I'm doing it subliminally and not really thinking about
I
it.
don't know if you do it on purpose or not, but I mean,
Yeah.
to me, it's as an outside person and somebody that does martial arts that I notice it, and whether it's subconscious that you just do it
Yeah.
because you are right now, I think it gets the refreshing thing because you get certain people, as much as I love them, they're the same fight in every single movie, and you'd always, you know,
Yeah.
like, as much as I love Don the Dragon Wilson, whether he's playing a doctor or an ex-military, he still fights like Don the Dragon Wilson, you know,
Yeah.
and I see that difference. Before I run out of time, I have to ask: is there any chance that we're going to get any more? Since you brought him up, Accident Man or Boyka or even Ninja, because I love those Ninja movies.
All right. If you could get Undisputed, Ninja, and Accident Man, which ones would be your choice? One, two, three. What's first? What's second? What's third?
I think my
Your
old school
preference.
love of Shokasuki makes me want more Ninja,
Okay. And what would be
but
number two?
those Undisputed Boyka movies, he's just so
Yeah.
iconic, you
Yeah.
know. And I love the Accident Man movies, but I watched the first Undisputed movie, you know, with Wesley Snipes, and then for you
Yeah.
to rebuild the franchise and takes what was just a villain type character and become yours just seems so much more important.
I do think we should do a Ninja 3. I do.
I
But
agree.
it's the producers, man. It's getting the rights.
It's ridiculous. Well, before
It's
they
out of
kick
my
me off,
hands.
I do have one other thing I have to tell you to thank you. As a martial artist, I always research stuff. And during COVID, when you started doing the art of action and started doing your videos of kicking techniques and teaching
Oh,
stuff,
yeah.
I was on them all the time, man. And a lot of
Oh,
my,
cool, man.
but it broke down. So not only did it help me improve myself, sometimes it gave me a better way to explain to my students. And so
Yeah.
you've had a direct impact, whether you ever realize it or not, on my classes and my own training. And I thank you very much.
Oh, oh, that's great to know. Yeah, I really appreciate you telling me that. That's brilliant. Yeah.
But I can't wait to see what
Thanks,
else you
Bobby.
have coming. Like I said, your name is there. I'm always, my wife is tired of hearing about you because she hears your name. She goes, this guy again.
My wife's tired of hearing about me as well.
But I greatly appreciate you taking time to speak with me. The movie is fantastic. I hope you great success and can't see what comes next.
Thanks, Bobby. I appreciate it, mate. Really do. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir. You have a wonderful day.
You too.